5 o'clock, Monday, February 20th, 2023. This meeting is called to order. We have a quorum present, and Paul Mostella is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And Janie's going to read the board mission statement.
Tulsa Midway Independent School District educates every student to be a lifelong learner, a person of integrity, and a positive contributor to society.
It's an earlier note.
Okay, we don't have any public comments for tonight. Next discussion action item is presentation and acceptance of TMISD Education Foundation Award Donation/Grants 2022 to 2023.
Madam President, members of the board, we have with us representatives of the best education foundation in the state of Texas, and we will invite you to come forward with our executive director. We have our president, officers.
Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to be here again. We've reviewed our grants. We had a four-man crew review them all. Had 15 grant proposals. We were able to fund all of them to some degree. One of them we did have to trim back a little bit to match our funds available to some degree. Foundation is pleased to present TMISD a check for the amount of $40,543. This was the 21st round of grants.
Gosh.
It's been a little sparse with COVID being a hit the last couple of years, but I think they're starting to come back in line and everything's going great. This will bring the total amount funded since 2005 to well above $875,000. So,
That's awesome. Great
thank
job,
you for keep
y'all.
on supporting us.
Great job.
You want to
Y'all
get
want to
with
take, yeah,
this?
y'all want to come up here and we'll take a picture with it? The very front?
Our goal is to double that. I like that.
Y'all join us.
Okay, you said double that next year, so you have to be in the picture.
We want to double this.
I can stand in the back somewhere.
No, you're right there.
Stay on the table.
There.
Stay on the table.
Oh, I don't even cover it. There we go. Yeah.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Got you.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Very much.
There you go. Short and sweet.
We have to vote on it.
Yes. Oh.
And Meg, do we have the timeline for disbursement? of
Yes.
funds?
Is,
You could
I can
share
say that
with
to
the board?
everybody in here. I know it's top secret.
Oh, is it top secret? I wasn't aware.
Prize
Okay,
parade is a little bit.
coming soon.
Yes.
Yes,
Copied in an email.
like very soon.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
What were, can we ask what some of the
That's
grants
whatever you
were?
want. Or would that be divulging
Yeah.
Yes.
top secret
Yes.
information?
Yes, because they won't be aware until the actual prize.
Until they're given their checks,
Presentation
they
as
do not
well.
know if they were successful. They can probably glean from checking to see that we funded all the grants, all 15 of them. So it's kind of a darn, but
Okay.
But it ranged technology. Without giving it.
we will have to give you a review list.
Yes, I have it all.
Can you share how it's going to be revealed?
We are gonna actually, in the past, we've done it different ways. We've talked about it. We're actually gonna meet again to confirm everything, but we will meet here, get on a bus, and then travel to the various campuses. Some of them.
It's like a big deal.
Yes. And some of them, we do have to kind of, high school's testing. So rather than going through the halls and doing all that kind of parade, we may have to call them to the pack like we have in the past, just because they are testing that whole entire week. That there was no open date that we could find. But as far as elementaries, middle schools, and intermediate, we should be able to make as much noise and get them out and about. That's the plan, is to make it a big, loud event.
Yeah, we just won't have the drum line going through the high school.
Correct.
But we can have it going through the other campuses.
Yes, I just need to confirm with them because they're getting ready for Mariachi State and so,
And some of you testing.
They are busy folks.
yeah.
Always. Well, we appreciate each one of y'all. Does anybody, I guess there's really not any questions that can be asked.
Not really.
All right.
And every campus was awarded. There was every campus. There was not one campus that did not submit. So it's not, all of them had someone receiving a grant.
All 5.
Correct.
Right.
That's awesome.
I have a question. The next state of the, what was it?
State of the district.
The district, do y'all have that scheduled already for next year or not? Or?
September
We are looking for
21st.
September 21st, which is the date, right around the same date, one day previous. We're just having to confirm with the Omni if they have the availability. And I know Mr. Van Mutri was requesting an additional section to be added because we grew within a matter of hours from when it was set. And then within a few hours, it was, okay, now it's 36 tables, 30. So we're seeing if they're able to add that additional section, if the walls can be taken down and then extended farther to allow more people to purchase tables.
And the Education Foundation itself, it's, I'm sure with the help that you give them this year, is probably well on its way to being self-sufficient.
To my knowledge, Mr. Gonzalez has gone through and back. He said we were good with this dollar amount, that we were able to fund this, and that we still had some sitting. I know there's been some talk about trying to get teachers to do back the teacher donations from their paychecks. A direct deposit can go. They can do monthly from their paychecks, or they can just say here's a flat fee. But to my understanding, we're sitting good. We're trying to finish making sure that everything's good with the IRS on that end. There was some issues because of the lack of someone being in contact with them and making sure we were good. But all of that, Mr. Gonzalez has taken care of, or is in the process of taking care of, just hearing back from them that we're good. I'm sorry?
Leo Gonzalez, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Any more discussion?
Madam President, it is the administration's proud recommendation that the board approve and accept the donation of grant funds from the Tolosa Midway Education Foundation in the amount of $40,543.57 to fund designated innovative teaching grants for the 2023-2024 school year.
All right, do we have
I will make that motion.
all right, Paul Masella makes the motion.
I'll second.
Okay. It is, the recommendation is that the board approve and accept the donation, or the motion has been made, sorry, that the board approve and accept the donation of grant funds from the TM Education Foundation in the amount of $40,543.57 to fund designated innovative teaching grants for the 2023-24 school year, and Ben has seconded it. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, second item is to discuss and consider approval of financial audit fiscal year ending 2022.
Madam President, members of the board, as you know, a requirement of the Texas Education Agency is to have an annual audit. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Deputy Superintendent, Mr. Philip Carroll, to move through the audit findings for the school year 2022.
Yes, sir. Tonight we have Mr. Michael Kieschnick from our firm that we use for our annual audit, Laverne Kieschnick, and I'm going to turn it over to him. He's going to go through some key areas and key points to MASD audit. It's a good audit. We passed, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Keesling.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's going to be hard to follow the previous folks, but I have good news as well. So we've issued an unmodified opinion, which is the very best opinion you can receive on a set of financial statements. It's a clean report. So without delay, I'll take you right into it. I tend to be brief, but I welcome any questions you might have, and we can stop and talk about whatever you come across. I'll start on page 2. This is our independent auditor's report, and the second paragraph there I'll read to you. And this states, in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of Filosa Midway Independent School District as of August 31, 2022, and the respective changes in financial position and where applicable cash flows thereof for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. So this is an unmodified opinion. It's a clean report. And then if you turn to page 16 on Exhibit A1, every school district in Texas is required to present 2 sets of financial statements. The first is on a government-wide basis. These financials have things such as your capital assets, which are your buildings, large equipment items, and also carry your bond debt. Those are disclosed in this set of financials. The second set is a fund financial basis of accounting, which is how schools keep the books on a day-to-day basis. So Exhibit A1 is titled the Statement of Net Position. This is a balance sheet. And I'll work through the total column for you on the far right. The total assets total $100,890,463. Deferred outflows of resources were $5,766,983. Total liabilities was $71,333,028. Deferred inflows of resources was $13,840,701. And that brings your total net position on a government-wide basis to $21,043,717. On page 17 and 18, Exhibit B1, this is your statement of activities or the government-wide income statement. Total expenses for the year, I'm going to come down to the primary government row towards the middle of the page, was $48,625,032. Those expenses were offset by 2 types of program revenues, the first being charges for services of $1,041,760 and operating grants and contributions of $6,780,288. Then the far right column, the total column, down towards the bottom, you had total general revenues of $42,979,837, a special outflow item of $189,000, and that resulted in a positive change in net position on a government-wide basis of $2,432,118. You begin at $19,051,000, and you come back to $21,483,717. So those are your government-wide financials. Beginning on page 19, Exhibit C1, we'll get into your fund financials. And on this set, I'll only cover the general fund, which is your main operating fund. The total assets in the year was $24,758,359. Total liabilities was $2,668,056. Deferred inflows of resources of $1,182,830. And your total fund balance in the general fund was $20,907,473. That's the end of the year. On page 21, Exhibit C2. This is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances of the governmental funds. Again, I'll focus only on the general fund for you. Your total revenues total $39,854,265. Total expenditures $39,726,101. After all that, your net change in fund balance is a decrease of $61,000, so about as close to break even as you can get for the year. You began the year with a fund balance in your general fund of $20,968,544. And you come back to $20,907,473, and that is your ending fund balance in your general fund. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions?
Good, good. good report. I mean, there's no findings, so
No, it's a clean report. We didn't modify anything.
that's good. That's very good. And everything was, business department,
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, the business department, everything worked well, everybody worked well together.
Yes, sir. Mr. Carroll, Ms. Aldani, the entire staff, they're very well prepared for us. And very responsive to the requests we had. Every year, there's extra layers added to doing these audits, it seems like, especially the last few years with Esther and things of that nature. And your business offices are under tremendous pressure. We do 13 school districts, and they've all just felt the pressure these last few years of whether it's applications or status reports or TDA audits or whatever it is. But they managed to go ahead and pull everything together and get your report done and clean and in good shape. So we're just very thankful for all their efforts.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, ma'am.
Any other questions?
If there's no further questions.
Madam President, members of the board, it is the administration's recommendation that the board approves the presented Tolosa Midway ISD annual financial audit for the year ending August 31st, 2022.
Does anybody want to make that motion?
No motion.
Jamie makes the motion.
I'll second.
Paul Stella seconds it. The motion has been made that the board approves the presented Tolosa Midway ISD annual financial audit for the year ending August 31st, 2022. There's no further discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
The next order of business, number 3, is to discuss and consider renewal of district property, liability, auto, and windstorm insurance.
Madam President, members of the board, we took a hit with our premium for this coming year, but as far as I can tell, we were one of the lowest school districts that, in other words, there's multiple districts, all of our neighbors, I believe their premiums came in higher percentage-wise than ours. So, Mr. Carroll?
I'm going to just briefly walk you through Mr. Carlisle from Carlisle Insurance. He's out of town. So I can't go into all the reasons why everything's going through the roof. But, you know, they always print this pretty picture of us here. It's not just us, it's the whole nation. All these catastrophic events that happen across the whole country, and even things that happen around the world, affect the insurance market. I'm not going to pretend to understand every aspect of it, but we give them our list of our vehicles, because we have to cover our vehicles for insurance protection, and then we give them the schedule of all our facilities. You know, we're looking at that, you're writing that scale of, well, we need to protect ourselves in case of the worst case scenario, but then we're gambling a little bit that, well, we're hoping that, you know, even if we get hit by a Category 5 hurricane, it's not going to completely level all 5 campuses. You know, we might sustain some damage at every campus, but I will say it's the typical, the premiums are going up and the deductibles are going up and those things are keep going up. But based upon what's happening in the whole world and especially across the country, that's what's responsible for this huge increase. I did budget for, I think I budgeted for a 25% increase. The actual increase is about 33. Wow. So the budget is covering most of this already. And of course, They know we do our renewal at this time of year because I've got money in the bank because everybody paid their taxes by January 31st. So we've collected pretty much all the money we're going to collect for the year, and that gets us through the rest of the year till next tax collection season. So that's why they know this is going to renew on the 1st, and it goes from March 1st to the following March 1st. So 6 months of this premium is in this fiscal year. 6 months will be out of next year's budget. I have nothing else, but unfortunately, it is what it is.
I have a question and a comment. Do you have just, I'm not gonna hold you to, but a roundabout figure of how much the increase is?
Yes, it's on it should be on the agenda item.
It's 1.6.
It should be on the cover sheet, the cover agenda sheet has it. Let's see if we jump over to the.
1.6 million to 2.2 million.
Yeah. And my comment is, Mr. Carlisle, we've been doing business with him for a while now, right?
Yes, what we're in is, it's a consortium or we're a group of, I think it's about 40 school districts that we're together. We're in this co-op together, and all of us get our coverage, There is some strength in numbers. It doesn't seem to be helping us, but Mr. Carlisle did point out there was a period when I first got here, there was a period where our rates weren't going up, and we had like 2 or 3 year guarantees, like the rates are not going to go up, they're not going to change for the next 3 years. And so, according to him, those were the good days. Now we're going through this other period where the premiums keep going up. So, it is what it is.
And my only comment to that would have been that it would have been nice for him to have a representative here.
Yes.
In case any of the trustees did
He did
have
offer to
questions.
zoom
Well,
in, but.
let me talk about that for a second. When we met with him last week, he was aware that we were meeting on Monday, and he offered to zoom in. He's currently in Arizona in Scottsdale, family vacation, convention. What I told him was, no, let's not do that. If the board wants you to come and do a presentation in person, I would prefer that.
I mean, I just didn't know if he had other people that worked with him or not, or is he just the lone chief there? But that's all right.
Any other questions?
I had a question.
Yes.
On that slide. No. It's covers and deductible options. Coverage and deductible. I think it was early on.
It's a landscape page, isn't it? Or-
Yeah,
Yes.
that one.
that one.
Yes,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
Okay, our deductible is increasing, like, we're essentially wanting the same plan, but these are the things that changed in it.
Correct.
Our
Yeah, we're going-
deductible's higher now,
Yeah,
so
right.
that was a little, I guess, concerning. And then, the crime line, that's totally different, include it to 2,500? Or is the
Yeah, I'm not sure,
deductible
I'm not sure why they
2,500?
broke that out. That was always included in the other figure. I'm not sure why they broke that out different. That's just to cover us in case if we have an individual employee theft or something like that. That's to cover us for that. I'm not sure why it's broken out separately. That was always in there. I guess it just wasn't broken out.
Oh, it's a part of the cyber stuff?
No, I thought that was, the cyber is.
Yeah, cyber was a different line
Yeah,
item.
it's a different line item.
Okay.
This is to cover for employee liability and if we had an individual employee theft.
And then, if a Cat 5 hurricane did come and wipe out everything TM, Carlisle will pay us $208 million. In our last bond, we're we were asking for 98 million, and that was only to build one, I guess, school district?
Well,
What,
actually,
or how much are we, I
we're-
guess, gambling?
we're gambling because the deductible is going to be 3% per location, a minimum of 800,000. So in theory, if we took the 4 main campuses, we could have, our deductible could be 800,000 times 4.
Times 5.
Or times 5. I mean,
Okay.
you threw ACC in there, but ACC is so much smaller, that impact wouldn't be that, I mean, that whole facility is not 800,000. So that would be a much smaller
I get it, I'm
cost.
just,
But if I was gonna eyeball it for you, it would be 800,000 times 4. Would be, because we'd assume that probably every building would have some
plus
damage, but
the 200.
we're also hoping that, it wouldn't be catastrophic, hopefully. But, and, you know, that's what we're gambling, that even if we got hit with a Category 5, it's not gonna completely level all of our campuses. But the minimum would be, the local minimum was 800,000 for a named storm per location.
Worse would be a tornado.
If, yeah. What does the district do if something like that were to happen?
Well, the other thing we'd have to, what's happened, I can tell you like what happened in Port Aransas and with Rockport and Aransas Pass. FEMA does help cover what your insurance doesn't cover. FEMA does help, but FEMA's a nightmare to deal with. It's a horrific process to go through to get FEMA to help you supplement. But there are federal disaster funds that are available.
But the deductibles itself would probably crush us.
Well, if you, like I said, if you multiplied that up, we're that's $2.4 million. That if we had all of our 4 major campuses.
That's 3.2 million.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah, 3.2. And that's what we're gambling, that
That nothing.
if that happens, we need some, we would have to rely on some federal disaster assistance to get us through that. That's what our neighbors had to do with Harvey. They had insurance coverage, but it doesn't pay for everything. It doesn't pay they're not gonna give you one, you're never gonna get 100% of what your replacement value is. We couldn't afford the premiums. If we did lower our deductibles, the premiums
I know.
would double.
It's a catch-22.
It is. So
We are fortunate to not be right on the water.
Fortunately.
A little bit
yes.
further in.
We're a little bit further in, for whatever that's worth. Insurance.
Still in the zone though.
We are in
we're
the
still in the
zone.
we're still in the bad zone, but insurance agents, and since there's nobody here, they don't like to hear this, but insurance is gambling. We're betting that we're gonna get wiped out, and you're gonna have to pay us big bucks to get us back to normal. And they're betting that it's gonna be sunny skies and they can collect their premium and go on down the road. It's a gamble, it's a bet.
And then the limit it had was, I think, 50 million on a property. We only have one property greater than that, that's the high school.
Right.
Were we looking to do the additional property coverages?
No, we're going with the recommended.
Just the,
yeah.
okay.
And every year we do, because when you're looking at, you want to look at replacement values, and with the cost of construction going up every year, we're never going to be, here's the hard fact, we're never going to be able to afford to fully insure us as values keep going up.
Yeah,
But we do adjust them every year. We do kind of go in there and increase the values, because what was on the books was what the high school cost us back in 1984. Obviously, it costs way more to build that facility.
That's what I was curious
And
about.
even our newest elementaries are 22 years old, so they're put on the books at what they cost, but 22 years later, it costs way more to construct those buildings. And we've added some new things, we've added the domes. Since I've been here, we've added classroom additions, we've added the ag barn, we've added the PAC center. Those increase that adds more square footage to our total inventory of property. And they come, and one thing, they come and inspect us, they go up on the roofs, they check everything, and, they'll tell us, if we're not maintaining our property, then they won't insure us, because they'll tell us, hey, if you don't fix this roof, we're not gonna cover it if something happens because you're not maintaining it. So, they come and do inspections, pretty regularly. It seems like almost maybe every 2 years. Every 2 years, they come and make sure that we have to maintain our facilities. They're not gonna cover us if we're not taking care of our stuff, then they're not gonna cover us.
On the additional property coverages, there was a section on ordinance or law not to exceed $1 million. Is that like if the law were to update, such as like with windows and doors, we can use insurance to cover that, or that's something totally different?
That, I'm not gonna be able to 100% answer that question for you.
That's okay. It said 15, coverage does not extend to 15 passenger vans while transporting students.
Yes. And
We don't have any of
we don't
that
have
in our
any of
fleet,
those.
right? Okay.
Those have been out of, school districts don't use those for years. We're not allowed to use
Okay,
those.
sweet. And then there was a value added page for services. Have we ever, taken advantage of the other, items he offers? It's in the slide deck.
You're talking about like we do, are you talking about the extra stuff that's available? Like if we did have a disaster, like I'll take like this, like the cyber coverage. We can file our claim. There's all these other services that they help us with. That's just on one thing, but I know that like if we had a major equipment failure, a chiller went down, they have a process where they help us. You only get those services if you need them.
Okay.
And then like I know that if we did have a major storm and we did have several buildings out, they've got all this disaster relief help that they automatically come
It
in
was
and
like
help us.
facility surveys and all those.
They would help us, get back on our feet again. So they're pretty much, they're there if you need them. And it's part of the service. It's part of if you file a claim, you get these extra, things that help you correct whatever happened with the claim. They're there to help you.
And then my last question was, how do we calculate the percentage of items inside? Because some schools were greater than the other
Right,
schools.
I'm not
and I
sure
didn't know
exactly,
why.
I'm not sure exactly what the criteria for the contents is. I don't know, I don't have that answer.
I'd assume, I guess at least 5 campuses would be the same. Because one was like 20% and others were like 30.
Yeah, ACC is a lot smaller than our regular campuses. But that's the cover for everything. That's the computers, that's our infrastructure, that's our servers, that's our furniture, that's it, that's everything.
Patrick, I'm assuming at the close of any school year, we do capital outlay inventories.
We only inventory, certain,
Key items.
Key items,
5,000 or more.
5,000 or more, and then electronic items, what we call high pilferage. They don't cost 5,000, but we keep track of our computers, we keep track of our servers, our computer equipment.
Vehicles.
And vehicles.
They were picky about the vehicles. Last year, when they did their last inspection, they requested to see certain buses, and they went to go match the VIN. Like we were gonna lie about purchasing a bus.
Right.
But they come out and they visually inspect the VIN number on it.
Yeah, because I saw on the buses, the price difference between our oldest and our newest is like
Yes.
double. So, yeah, I could see why they would want to do that.
And we've had them check, they insure every vehicle that could be on the road. So we have several trailers. The ag department has a lot of trailers. Maintenance has trailers where we haul stuff around. Those have to be covered too. And so I know we make sure that, hey, if we're not using a trailer anymore, we take it off the list, we junk it, we scrap it, we sold it. We make sure we take off what we're not using anymore. But if we are using it, if it could be on the highway or could be on the street, we make sure it's on the list.
Right.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
It's very painful. I hate writing this check.
I can imagine.
Have to have it. Good job,
Have to
Philip.
have it. Just like
All right.
homeowners, auto, and everything else.
Recommendation?
Madam President, members of the board, it is recommended that the board approve the continuation of the district's property, casualty, and educators' legal liability insurance coverage at the stated premium rates totaling $2,240,553 for the coverage period of March 1st, 2023 to March 1st, 2024.
Anybody like to make that motion?
I guess I'll make, I guess, reluctantly. Really?
Yeah.
Ben makes the motion and Paul Mostella seconds it. So the motion has been made. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. The board is going to convene into closed session now, as authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act to discuss items allowed by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.071-.076, .082, .0821, .083, .084. The time is 5:36 p.m. On February 20th, we are now in closed session. It's February 20th, 2023, 5:50 p.m. We have reconvened from closed session.
What time does the boys' game start?
7:30? Usually
How are you?
7 or 7:30.
How are you all?
Good.
What's your name, please, review? Because we've got to take action.
Yes, he's coming.
Closed session item. We have business to take care of.
We do. Madam President, members of the board, administration's recommended to approve the administrator's contracts as presented.
I will make the motion that the administrative contracts be approved as presented, and they are for,
2 years. And I'll,
make that clear.
and I'll second that motion for a 2-year administrative contracts. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. That's a really positive move. I applaud you for that.
Very exciting. All right, our future meetings are today, as soon as we adjourn this meeting. And then there's a special called board training on February 27th and a regular called board meeting on March 20th. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Let me, before you make the motion, is the 27th meeting at 6 o'clock?
It was originally scheduled for 5 because it's a 2-part meeting. So it's a 2-hour and then a 3-hour right after that. That's what the board had asked for last.
6 on Monday, you need to...
That's fine. Is everybody all
5?
right with?
Was 6
Six.
that long one,
6?
right?
Yes. Okay.
So it'll run to 11.
Yes.
Okay?
We got till 12.
Yes, you do.
The 27th, correct?
Yes.
What's your work schedule then?
I'll make it.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make the motion to adjourn the previous first meeting, Monday, February the 20th, 2023, the one we started at 5 o'clock.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and we have a second to adjourn the meeting. It's all those in favor and no opposed. Motion carries 5-0. It's 5:54 on February 20th, 2023, and this meeting is adjourned.